Have you ever felt like your own backyard became enemy territory overnight? That was me standing under the old oak tree, hands trembling around the trowel, while Mrs. Grant from the HOA glared at me with all the warmth of a tax auditor. "You planted those dayglow flowers without approval," she hissed, voice flat like stale coffee. "This is a neighborhood, not a botanical free-for-all." And just like that, my peaceful Sunday exploded into a tough war I never saw coming. My name's Mike Harrison, and 3 months ago I inherited my Grandma June's house in Redwood Hills, a place I thought would be my sanctuary after years in the city. Grandma June had lived here for 50 years, lovingly tending her rose garden, the same one that made every passerby smile. She'd built this place from scratch, put down roots, and poured her heart into every petal. So when I moved in, I thought I'd honor her memory by preserving the garden, adding a few bold blooms of my own and keeping it alive. Didn't think it'd start a neighborhood riot. Because now, instead of gratitude, I got bureaucracy. The HOA swooped in, like a bad sequel, citing code violations, color restrictions, threats of fines. Change the colors, or pay. I remember staring at that letter like it was written in a foreign language, because who fights over flowers? But then I saw Mrs. Grant again, clipboard in hand, marching through my garden, pointing at each petal like a general inspecting troops. "That's not the approved palette. That's not acceptable." My heart sank, but I stood my ground. "These are my grandma's flowers," I said quietly. "They matter." And that's when things spiraled. I'd show up at an HOA meeting, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, folding chairs half empty, and there she was, front and center, ready to make me the villain. "Mr. Harrison is blatantly ignoring neighborhood covenants," she announced, voice booming. "We've issued warnings. We're enforcing compliance." The hall went silent. I swallowed hard. I raised my hand. My grandma planted this garden 15 years before the HOA even existed. Eyes flicked at me. Some sympathetic, others annoyed. I laid it bare: this garden means history. She rolled her eyes and shot back: "History doesn't override agreements you sign by inheriting the property." Agreement. I hadn't signed anything. And suddenly, I was caught in a tale that felt much bigger than flowers. But here's the first twist: my friend Sarah, the new mail carrier, drops off a surprising package weeks later. It's a file she retrieved by mistake from the HOA's paperwork crate, community minutes dating back years, and tucked inside, an early amendment stating that existing gardens predating HOA bylaws would be grandfathered in. Boomtown of the script. I pressed Sarah for more, and she delivered: whispered hallway gossip about the president's late husband planting those color restrictions to increase resale value, like a scheme, not standards. At that moment, I realized this wasn't just enforcement, it was control. Some deep-seated power play hidden behind rulebooks, targeting me as the new guy. I pored over those documents late into nights under the backyard string lights. I recorded HOA Zoom meetings, catching Mrs. Grant muttering things like, "We have to nip this in the bud, can't be allowed to set a precedent." Code, calculating, her voice carrying through the feed. And then came the second twist. "You remember Sarah, right?" She shows up at my door one evening, face pale, hands shaking, carrying her delivery bag. "Mercury not alone," she said. That file came from Mrs. Grant's desk. She pulled out a USB drive she'd found. I heard her kids talking, saying even board members are uneasy. I looked at that drive, heart pounding inside, emails detailing strategy, threats to fine me $200 monthly, even plans to sell my property if I didn't comply. It was a blueprint of intimidation. My chest ached, but I felt a spark. Justice is a fire, and this was fuel. That night I planted more flowers, bright, defiant, right under the oak. Neighbors passed by, some nodded, others stared. That garden became our silent rallying point. I posted a note at the mailbox, "All welcome to help restore Grandma June's garden this Saturday." That morning, a surprising crowd showed up. Neighbors with shovels, paint gloves, iced tea, some brought cookies. Sarah was there, clipboard in hand, not HOA business, but a petition. Linda from next door, a quiet soul, agreed to join if we formed a subcommittee to review enforcement fairness. Suddenly, this wasn't just my fight, it was community. Tension built to its peak at the next HOA meeting. The hall, once silent, buzzed with conversations, 30 chairs filled, some standing in back. Mrs. Grant entered, face pinched. She spoke fast, listing violations, threats of liens. I stood, heart beating, louder than definition. I laid the amendment on the table, shared the USB's contents, emails revealing intentional targeting. I played the Zoom recording of her saying, "We can't allow people to ignore compliance." The room shifted, eyes on her. Voices murmured. Board members glanced down at phones, then at each other. Linda stood and spoke, "This isn't about flowers. It's about power, fairness, community trust." Someone muttered yes. A hush spread. Then came the cinematic moment. Mrs. Grant crumbled. She sputtered, "Know your rights," mumbling, but the room turned against her. The board moved to vote. Oversight committee formed, color palette re-evaluated, path for dispute resolution established. She was removed from President's role that night. And the garden. It bloomed brighter than ever, roses, tulips, new day-glow blooms framed by the oak sturdy trunk. I stood under those branches when the meeting ended, hearing applause echo through the hall before spilling into the street. That night, neighbors gathered at my fence, smiling, chatting, sharing cookie plates and plans. It was messy and human, and electric justice didn't come in one headline moment. It rolled in with the smack of shovels and handshake lines. If you think it ended neatly, think again. Because the moment Mrs. Grant left the meeting, she leaned in close and said, "You're just lucky we didn't call the city. Low lights, right?" She walked away with that half smile that never fades, the kind that tells you she's not done. Power moves slowly, and I know she's already quietly organizing allies, drafting appeals behind screens. But now we have eyes on everything: transparency, community unity. So what do you think? Was I right to challenge her? Or did I stir unnecessary trouble in a quiet neighborhood? Where would you draw the line between tradition and rules? Drop your city below, share your take, right, wrong, or shades of grey. We're all in this community together.